This week we are completing our study on the 10th commandment by looking at the final commandment, you shall not covet. Yesterday I noted that this commandment was unique, disruptive, serious. Today we're going to see that it is also full of promise. Some of you are unhappy and unsettled, and you keep thinking that life will be better once, then fill in the blank. Once you get a promotion, once you get this house, once you buy this car, once you get married, once you get divorced, once whatever, you're thinking, I will be happy, I will be content when, and then fill in the blank. So, that's not actually the way it works. In fact, you can, I can, we can be content now. This commandment implies that contentment is not about stuff. It's much more about our heart. God tells us that we can be content, and wouldn't that be a wonderful thing? Some of you can't sleep at night because you want. You may not want your neighbor's ox or donkey, as this commandment reads, but you want your neighbor's car, you want your neighbor's spouse, and you think, if only I was married to him, he's so attentive to the kids and he hasn't gained weight and, you know, whatever, he's so much better than my husband. Or if only I was married to her, she's so much more thoughtful, or she's nice, or she doesn't whine, or whatever. If only I had his job, if only I made that much money, if only I, right, whatever. I'd be happy then, and the 10th commandment says, stop playing that game. It doesn't work that way. It's seldom about the stuff. It's very much about your heart. So if we look at this, we back up and we look a little bit deeper at the Exodus 20:17 passage, the statement of this commandment. It reads, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. Now, covet, it goes on beyond that, but it starts there. And covet is the word, the operative word that we have to understand. And it's not a word that translates neatly into, the Hebrew term is not a word that translates neatly into English language. In Hebrew, the term here in Exodus is hamad, which means to praise too much. In Arabic, this is actually a good term. Muhammad is about praising Allah. And it's a positive thing in that context. But in Hebrew, it means to praise too much, to desire too much. Now, in the book of Deuteronomy, and as you may know, the 10 commandments get stated in Exodus chapter 20. Then in Deuteronomy, deuteros, second, nomos, second giving of the law, you get the 10 commandments again. And there a different word is used. It's not the word hamad, it's the word ana, which means to earnestly desire, which is good until it's intensified. So a lot of times good things become bad things when we promote them beyond what they should be. We promote them beyond their rightful position or their station in life. And so this means to desire something too much. You shall not desire too much. Your neighbor's house, your neighbor's wife, or manservant, ox, donkey, anything that belongs to your neighbor. What we're being told here is that we have to keep our desires in check. So it's not that desire is wrong, always wrong anyway. That's a little bit more Buddhism. Buddhism suggests that the way to get to nirvana is to just learn to not want completely. And that's not what Christianity says. A very different approach. What C.S. Lewis writes about, of course I'm teaching a class on Lewis, so all roads particularly lead to Lewis right now. What Lewis writes about on this is to say that our desires can actually teach us things about ourselves and teach us that we were made for more than what we are experiencing. So the quote is, if we find ourselves with a desire that nothing in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that we were made for another world. So he doesn't say that desiring things is wrong. There's good things. The physical world is good. It's broken, but it's good. It's not inherently wrong. In fact, what Lewis says is that part of the problem with our desires is that they're too small. And he has this wonderful quote we are half-hearted creatures fooling around with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered us, like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in the slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea. We are far too easily pleased. The 10th commandment is about correctly orienting our desires. Have a good day.